Welcome to Beyond the Lines podcast, here with Felipe Fontes, and I'm Jared Gamble. It's Friday, May 15th, episode 5. We'll have a good one today, Felipe. How you been?
Good, man. You know, a lot of things on my mind. ESPN dropped their top 10 basketball players list of all time. Now, I have a little something to say about that. I feel like a couple of players got slighted. Others are a little bit too high. And some other topics, Dak Prescott. You know, I mean, look, man, it's gonna be a fun day today.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're going to get, like you said, we're going to get in those the ESPN list, Dak Prescott. We got a lot of fun things. We got a lot of fun things to talk about, and we're going to get at it, and we're going to go after each other.
Here we go. 5 quick facts. Let's get into them.
Number 1, ESPN, please fix your list. Here, I'll do it for you. Nah, this isn't Kobe nostalgia right now. It just is what it is. I don't have to bring up all the accolades. It's a matter of dominance in the era that he dominated in. Some of y'all really think LeBron has done enough to be at number 2 with the 3-5 finals record? He lost by record margins in a couple of them. How the hell do we put him past Kareem with his 6 championships and all-time scoring high? Or even Magic, whose game is similar but had 5 rings? Look, I give the legends their due respect, but 5 championships in one of the NBA's toughest eras puts Kobe over all but 2 of the greats. Can't say the same about Bron. As for the rest, the combination of the era they played in, championship and statistical dominance among other things, make it what it is. I value 1 championship against tough competition more than I do 3 against mailmen. Number 2, the best player in the world title is between KD and Kawhi. Tony Kukoc isn't wrong. KD just might be the best player in the NBA right now, depending on how you feel about Kawhi Leonard. Kukoc said, "Kevin Durant, to me, in my personal opinion, is the best player in the NBA. He can easily bring the ball up the floor. A nimble 7-footer with the greatest pure scoring ability we've ever seen, that'll help anyone's case. Not to mention the ability to play great defense on nearly any position on the court. Like I said earlier though, don't forget about Kawhi Leonard. 2 finals MVPs, 3 championships, and fresh off an incredibly impressive one with Toronto. He's a player who can score at will and defend better than arguably anyone in the league. Who do you want on your team? Make your choice. Neither is wrong." Number 3, I don't know who was dumber, the Browns or the Seahawks. Apparently rumors leaked before that 2018 NFL draft that Seattle had offered Cleveland Russell Wilson for the number 1 overall pick in the draft, which Cleveland went on to take Baker Mayfield with. I'd be absolutely shocked if either team wasn't on drugs at that exact moment. You're talking about one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Russell Wilson, 29 years old at the time. The only reason you stay relevant after losing so many key players after those Super Bowl runs. And they tried to get rid of him? And if you're the Browns, you didn't do it? Look, we don't know the details here, but the news in itself is mind-boggling. Of course the Browns would misjudge the quarterback situation as they've done for the past 20 years. I'm not surprised about that at all. But whiffing on a pick is one thing. Another is bypassing an opportunity to get a top 3 quarterback in the league right now for a player who most people don't even have as a top 2 quarterback in the draft. Leave it to the Browns. As for Seattle's management, I hope you found some help sobering up in the past few years. Number 4, if Dak Prescott isn't in the MVP race, the Cowboys shouldn't pay him what he wants. As if the addition of CeeDee Lamb wasn't enough pressure on Dak to perform, Vegas just tabbed him as having the 3rd best odds to win the MVP award in the 2020 season. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott have been in a tug and pull situation regarding Dak's contract, as Dak seems to want more than $35 million a year. A number the Cowboys aren't quite comfortable giving him. Look, as most people think Dak is in way over his head here, but I do believe he is good enough to be a quality starter in the NFL. The question is, at what price? If the Cowboys don't get a deal done with Dak before the season begins, Dak has to be in the MVP race this year if he wants the big bucks next year. He has too much talent around him to come up short. And even if he's in that conversation, the question still raises, how much was Dak truly responsible for the success? After all, we've seen better quarterbacks do more with less. I'm willing to look past that. If he can win, he can win. Just get it done. Number 5, the Rams uniform live up to their personality as a team. Some people loved them, some people hated them. The greatest player in Rams history? Yeah, he was one of the people who hated him. Eric Dickerson said, "This is football. This ain't nothing to do with surfing. This ain't nothing to do with waves. This is football. It's a man's sport. I'm not gonna say it looks hard, because it's not, but I do think it's as 2020 as you can get. What do I mean by that? Bright, minimalistic, and colorful. Would this fit the Steelers or Raiders per se? No, obviously not. It's a little fruity, video game-ish, but look at your quarterback. I don't get the shivers when I think of baby-faced Jared Goff. Or how about your 34-year-old head coach, Sean McVay? These guys are puppies. They look like Venice Beach, surfer boy-esque. It ain't Steel City or the Black Hole. Not even St. Louis anymore. If uniforms are a representation of a team's culture, then these new unis fit the Rams just right.
Felipe, man. Felipe, we're going to get straight into your worst take first, like always, your worst take. And you said you believe Kevin Durant is the best basketball player walking this earth right now, as Tony Kukoc said you in that little article, and you agree 100%. And I'm not angry. That's not what the worst take is for me, all right? So I'm going to dive into it. You're going to hear my dive in. That's right. Right now, I'm going to give you, for your take, I'm going to give it a C, all right?
Okay.
Typically, I give you your failing grades, your D's, and your F.
Yeah.
But
You do that pretty often.
Yeah. But this one, I'm not gonna be like hypocritical and really be like, oh, it's nonsense. But I'm going to hit a different angle to where it's like, hey man, this is a little bit of nonsense. But yeah, for sure. So you said Kevin Durant's best player. Like many people in the world believe Kevin Durant's probably the best player in the world, or LeBron,
right,
or maybe Giannis, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. You argue, yeah, Kevin Durant, or if you want to have an argument of Kawhi Leonard, that's valid, and that's 100% agreeable. But also, you mentioned nothing of a LeBron James, correct?
Correct.
You mentioned nothing LeBron, and that's where I think this argument becomes invalid, because if you have those two in there, you got to add LeBron. And for one,
Why?
Kevin Durant's, because have you seen what he's doing post All-Star break this year? 39, better than 39-9, better than 51% shooting, 3-point at 35, and not to mention we saw what his teams did. Number one in the West, went down and beat the Clippers and the Bucks and the Clippers in the same weekend. It was turn up time for LeBron as usual post All-Star break. So I think if you're gonna have a Kevin Durant, who especially is not even playing right now, he's hurt, so he's not even stepping foot on the court, to have him so easily be the best player in the world, which I'm fine with if you argue that. But I think you got to put the respect on LeBron and what he has done this year post All-Star break, and say, hey, he's in with these cats. He's in with the Kevin Durant. He's in with the Kawhi. He might be 35, 36, but man, he ain't playing like it.
Look,
he's not playing like it.
I have no problem excluding LeBron from this list, and the reason being, and talking about the top two players in the world, LeBron might be the third best. But when I'm talking about the best player in the world between Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, I have no problem leaving LeBron out. LeBron, he's a great player. Like you said, his stats have been fantastic this year. How that's reflected on the Lakers' success and everything has been amazing. But are we just going to ignore what Anthony Davis has been doing there? That's been a huge addition for them. He's been absolutely great for them. Obviously, a big difference from what we saw last year with LeBron. And LeBron, I know he's been putting up some numbers offensively, but his defense has completely disappeared. He doesn't defend.
That's false this year. That's not right this year. This year, by the metrics, he's up there. He's really played defense.
How far off his defense is from his peak, though? Extremely. Are you gonna put LeBron on the best player on the other court? On the other side of the court. I don't think so, because I think you need LeBron to conserve himself offensively. And at the same time, he's not giving you offensively exactly what I think KD and Kawhi Leonard could give you. Both of those guys are more potent offensively, and they're gonna defend your best player defensively. If you're starting a team, you're gonna pick and forget age. Right now, they could all be the same age, but who's giving me more offensively and defensively on both sides of the court is Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant. So to me, it's between those two. And I have no problem with LeBron. We got to keep in mind what LeBron has this year, and to think about how big of a difference AD is making. Just look at last year. That's all.
Well, the thing with LeBron's defense this year, going back he's played like by the metrics and stuff. He's played terrific defense this year, and he has guarded best players in the fourth quarter between that Clippers and Bucks game. He guarded Kawhi Leonard. He guarded Giannis, and you saw what he blocked Giannis' shot.
I don't give a damn about Giannis. We both agree Giannis is overrated. So.
No, but you said that he's not going to go down and guard their best player. He did. He took the challenge of Kawhi. He took the challenge of a Giannis. So his defense this year, it's conservative. They conserve it. They conserve it. So when he needs it most, which like most stars nowadays, Kawhi's not guarding the best player on the court.
He will.
Quarters.
He will.
But he's not. But he's not because it's not a great recipe. Right now, Kevin Durant also is not this like terrific defender. I mean, he's a solid defender. It was a product of that Golden State defense that, hey, Draymond do this, Clay do this.
Okay, but look,
so I can look.
Yeah. We're not talking about this guy like he's like a Kawhi. Kawhi obviously been defensive player of the year before. Kevin Durant hasn't been that. But when I look at those two guys, when we're talking about comparing defense, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant going up to somebody and defending him, shutting down the best player, we saw him do that to LeBron in the finals. So it's like
he didn't shut him down,
but he way outplayed him, and he was defending him, and LeBron was defending him. On a lot of times, they even took LeBron off KD because it was just a matter of KD was going to score regardless.
Well, the thing is that you can't the outplay part, and I'll get to that. But for you to say LeBron, look what he has as Anthony Davis, it's LeBron out of every star in the world or every athlete. LeBron's the one that when he has a teammate, it discredits him and says, "Oh wait, but he has this."
I disagree.
Michael Jordan had.
I disagree. It's been said about Kobe. It's been said about Michael Jordan.
But it's not being. It doesn't hold the same weight as it holds for LeBron. But okay, so if LeBron has AD, he has Anthony Davis, right? Look what he's doing. Plus minus when LeBron is off the court, they're not a playoff team. They're terrible. So much for. I love Anthony Davis. He is a great player. So much for Anthony. When LeBron steps off the floor, Anthony's not providing any winning basketball for them. He's not. It's just not winning. They lose.
Here's the problem with you LeBron stands, man. I'm saying LeBron isn't the best player. He might be 3. When you say something like that, you guys think all of a sudden we're saying LeBron is the worst player in the world. I'm not saying that. LeBron very well is one of the best players in the league. And of course, he's going to make his team a lot better than it is. I'm saying from one year to the next year, we saw the difference that Anthony Davis made. Just because LeBron needs help, every player needs help. I'm not saying he doesn't need help.
LeBron was hurt last year, though. They were a 4 seed when he wasn't hurt. Yeah, Anthony's going to make them better, but that's just a product of any good player being next to you. And LeBron's in another year with a new coach. So LeBron playing last year, with those cats, yeah, they were young, but they're probably going to make the playoffs if he didn't get injured. Lonzo didn't get injured. B.I. didn't get injured. But that's besides the point because that's old news. If we're going to say, hey, LeBron has an Anthony Davis, so look what he's doing. It's a little easier. Well, Kevin Durant just spent the last 3 years in Golden State. So why is it so easy for us to say he's the best player? He was playing with Klay Thompson. He was playing for Steph.
Because of what I said, the one-on-one, I've seen LeBron versus KD, and who's better? KD. That's why. It's simple.
It's not one-on-one when you have the 4 other people around you. When you have Klay Thompson, and a Steph Curry next to you, Kevin Durant's never seen a double team in his life in his last 3 years. Kevin Durant gets his spots whenever he wants because he knows with those 2 guys next to him, it is so much more easier. So the level of difficulty for Kevin Durant or the level of oh my gosh, it's going to be really tough. It's not there. Kevin Durant, it's like playing pickup with those guys because he can get to his spots. He can do this and he can do that. If I'm looking at, if you want to say Kevin Durant is not my argument because his talent is great. But for you saying, oh, he beat him, look at the one-on-one matchup. Well, I saw the one-on-one matchup in 2012. Kevin Durant was great. LeBron won. So if you want to say he's got Anthony Davis, so it's kind of like, KD had, the last time we seen him play, he had Klay Thompson and he had Steph Curry. So we all know when you have those 2 guys, it makes everything easier, correct?
Correct.
It does. That's why we didn't like him going to Golden
100%.
State because he was so great of a player that, hey, you're not showing us anything by winning titles. So what makes us think, what did he show us now that it's like, oh, this dude, he did it. He went down, beat LeBron head-to-head, which it was not head-to-head. We all know it wasn't head-to-head.
Okay, right. We all know we got to consider the whole team aspect. It's a 5-on-5 game, not a 1-on-1 game. But answer me this. How do we consider, especially because we're not worried about comparing players in different positions here. They're all play pretty similar positions, play similar roles between LeBron, KD, and Kawhi. So now answer me this. Take away, when we're considering who's better between two players in this circumstance, and obviously there's a team component in it. We all know that. How are you going to be able to make this comparison, right? We strip everything else. We say one-on-one, who's better? Who can defend better? Who's a better ISO player? And then you can consider what LeBron, he's a better passer. Yeah, he's a better passer than both of them. But
I don't think Kevin.
I think that's what it comes down to, one-on-one. You consider who's the best player. Who wins one-on-one?
Well, that's not how you judge people, because who wins one-on-one between Steph Curry and Giannis, and I believe Steph's a better player than Giannis, or it doesn't matter who, then Steph Curry's 6'3". You can't base off one-on-one. I don't think Kevin Durant's a better defender.
In their particular situations where they all have good teams. Kawhi Leonard has Paul George with him, and LeBron James has AD. KD, obviously right now we haven't seen him this year, but yeah, in the past, he had other players, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. So they all have it. So at the end of the day, we can look at the assist numbers. Okay, let's all put that into consideration. But then we really want to take it to another level. I want to see it one-on-one. And KD has trumped LeBron in that point.
I don't really see how he's trumped, just because like you can't base it off like one-on-one just because they're not literally playing one-on-one. Kevin Durant isn't this. If I want a guy in a fourth quarter of an NBA Finals game, and you give me the choice between those three guys, Kawhi, Kevin, and LeBron, I'm sorry, I am taking LeBron 100 out of 100 for this reason.
Wow.
He breaks down the offense. He slows the game down. What you want to get into, you're not getting into, because LeBron's going to slow down. Kevin Durant and Kawhi are get to your spots type of guys. They're great players. They are great players. They're a get to your spot. They're not really. LeBron is a system. LeBron breaks you down, and what he's done since the All-Star game, it's short of sensational. 31, 9-9, better than 51% shooting. I don't think there's enough to say, especially with the injured Kevin Durant, just to be like, oh, LeBron's not even in this conversation. Because what LeBron is doing, number one in the tough West, beat the Clippers. We saw it, and stuff like that. It's hard to judge, because I don't want to be like, oh, I can't say no, Kevin Durant's not there, because he is a great player. Kawhi, well, he's not number one because he is a great player. But for you not to have LeBron in that discussion for what he has done, and it's like every year people are saying who is going to be better, and we just kind of see it's like this dude's not done yet. He's not done yet. Once Kevin Durant does it without those dudes in the Bay, then I'll really be like, all right, he's alone in this category. He is alone. But man, I want to see him do it. He ran over there. Because he didn't think he'd get it done. He didn't think he could get it done. So what makes me think, oh, hey, this dude is the best player?
Because that was, 5 years ago? That's why.
It was
4 years ago.
No, it wasn't 5 years ago.
4 years ago. It was 4 years ago. It was 4 years ago. You're telling me Kevin Durant hasn't had better season?
He hasn't played this year. He hasn't played this year, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm basing off 20.
He went to Golden State. He went to Golden State 4 years ago.
17, 18, 19, yeah. So I'm basing off even if it's play last year. All right, even if it's play last year. I want to see him do it with getting a double team. I want to see him do it with a little more pressure on him, not cakewalking to the NBA Finals because he had the greatest team collectively around him, the team that beat him down 3-1.
I think KD's soft as hell too. I'm with you on that.
Like
pure talent, man. Pure skill.
That's why I didn't give this an F, because I agree with you. Kevin is so great.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, he's not better than LeBron, because he has, LeBron's older. Right. LeBron might not be in his peak, but we haven't necessarily seen LeBron, he's not out of that, because what he keeps doing week by week basis or month by month, it's just like, this dude is still turning up.
Yeah.
And that's just my argument, is that I want to see Kevin, because we knew tell me this. What you saw from Kevin in Golden State wasn't anything different that you knew he could. Like, you knew he could do that, right? You knew what he was about.
I had never seen that killer mentality in him, though. I had never seen him. He didn't outplay LeBron. He went at LeBron and dominated LeBron in the finals. Like it's a difference. So I hadn't seen that. Yes, I've seen Kevin Durant, a great scorer. I've seen Kevin Durant.
I don't know if
the 7-foot athletic juggernaut, but I hadn't seen Kevin Durant. Like, I'm going to look you in your face and kill you. And that's what I saw from him. So I do think he's evolved in that aspect.
I mean, I don't know if he, like completely dominate or something. Kevin might average like 34. LeBron, we already know what he averaged in the finals. 30.
Man.
LeBron averaged 32. And what I saw from that game one, though, in 2018, and Stephen A. Smith alluded to this, Kevin Durant wanted no part of LeBron in 2018 game one. LeBron dropped 50. We saw LeBron dropping stuff from 30 feet in his eye, going at Kevin, going at Klay Thompson. Remember Stephen A. Smith said that Kevin Durant wanted no part of LeBron in 2018 of that game one. Sure, it's 2018 was game one. He still finished series strong. But the thing is, it's easy to dominate when you have no stress on you. When you have there's no.
I understand. I don't have an argument for that.
No pressure on you, and it's hard to go, divide the pressure into the greatness and to separate the two, because I don't want to be too critical and sound like just a hater,
right?
Because I'm not. But the circumstances are, it's hard to divide hey, there's no pressure,
right,
no stress, and how great you are, because it's a little bit easier. Because like if you were to put Kawhi on that team, same stuff's happening. If you were to put LeBron on that team, same stuff's happening. So I mean, it's just to not have LeBron in that argument and to have it injured KD with LeBron, KD, and Kawhi. I think it should be the correct group you have it in. And if I were to bank on it right now, I think if you were to tell me 2 months ago, I would have said Kawhi Leonard. But now after seeing post All-Star game, I think LeBron's right there. I think I would probably take LeBron still to this day.
If KD's healthy, you take him over KD as well?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. KD's coming off an Achilles injury. That's tough.
Yeah, right.
That's tough. But
I don't want to. KD, forget the Achilles. Like if he's what we saw last year, before he got hurt, then what?
So KD with going as he is with New York,
right.
Brooklyn.
Say he was with Brooklyn last year, but in the health and everything, we don't have any health concerns with him right now. Say that. Let's pretend that hypothetically.
You can't go wrong with any of them.
Okay,
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Look, I put Bron third. I put Bron third. Look, it's man. I understand not even having Bron within that conversation. Being
I think it's a little. It's blasphemous you don't have him in the conversations. You know that what you've seen from LeBron.
Right. No, I get your point.
Post All-Star. But to go back to your question, who would I take, LeBron or Kevin? Like right now, there's no injuries aside. I'll take LeBron because I've seen LeBron do it with a little more pressure on him.
Okay, we still gotta see Kevin Durant. No, I agree. We gotta see him perform with pressure. We've seen Kawhi perform with pressure, so it's
right. And Kawhi's definitely not out of this. Kawhi's a beast.
Right.
Kawhi's a dog. Kawhi's it rubs me the wrong way of how much I get it for the playoffs about how much of the sitting out happens.
Okay, like LeBron hasn't done. LeBron didn't over exaggerate his groin injury last year just because he didn't want the whole narrative of
how do we.
All right, we're not even getting into this. This is a conversation for another day. But
that's only 3 weeks. You can't come on. Don't say someone's injuries. They're over exaggerating. It's an injury. It's an injury.
He knew they weren't going to be what they were, and you didn't need that kind of.
They were a 4 seed when he went down. They were a 4 seed.
They were on a little
beating. They were beating Golden State when that happened too. I don't think he was fine.
All right, man. I hear you. I might reconsider, but if KD's at full strength, then I'm gonna have to stay with it. But I understand where you're coming from.
Going straight into the best take, Felipe. Your best take, and I'm gonna give this one. I think you hit the nail on the head right here. You really went at it. I think I can give it an A+. I agree 100% with you saying, Dak Prescott, if he wants that, that money, say he doesn't get paid this year, say he plays on the franchise. If he wants that money, he's got to perform up to the MVP odds that Vegas has given him going into the year, which is third, correct? He's third in the MVP odds that's behind Lamar and Mahomes, obviously. But I 100% agree with you because, look, I get it. When it comes to paying guys, you got to judge a lot of things because you got the market value, right. You got wins, you got market value, you got wins, you got awards, you got statistics. There's individual, there's team, there's market. It's a lot to go into when you're arguing, hey, this guy deserves this. But to want record-breaking money or around there, I believe it is, because they offered him, I don't know what the guaranteed money was, but they offered him year by year. It was like $35 million.
Yeah,
34 and a half,
35 million, and he said no. Like that's shocking to me. But
That's what I'm saying. So now this is on you. If I'm Jerry, I get it. It's a franchise quarterback. But I've always used this argument.
There's levels to this shit.
There is. And Stephen Jones said this on a radio station. It was kind of weary because he said they're looking at all the analytics when it comes to paying this guy big money, because there are statistics and evidence that if you pay this guy that much money, it eats into the cap, right, and it's not winning recipe. And Derek Carr had a good year in 2016, got paid. They haven't done shit. Matt Ryan got paid, hasn't done shit in the last 4 years.
Yeah, even good quarterbacks
Matthew
like Russell
Stafford.
Like even good quarterbacks like Russell Wilson
went on a stretch.
Right.
He went on a stretch of not doing anything. You got Kirk Cousins. Sure, they sometimes win, but they're always better than what they end up being, or they always not fail. I want to say what's the word I'm looking for? They always underachieve.
Right.
I think the Vikings, they always have great rosters. Even Aaron Rodgers for their teams for a little bit. Even Drew Brees' teams for a little bit.
Oh, it's been shown time and time again, for sure.
When you get that money and you get that much money, it's on you to make everybody better. And we haven't seen Dak do that, because for Dak, it seems like he needs and I don't think he's not a bad quarterback, but I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he is what he is, which is above average, and he's a solid, manageable quarterback. But when you have to have the perfect O-line, you have to have the perfect receivers, you have to have the perfect running back, and you still want guess what? If you get paid $35 million, you don't get the perfect of those. You don't. Because guess what? You're eating into the cap. You won't have to work with third-round draft picks, fourth-round draft picks. You're going to have to work with lower-level players than what you've worked with. And what he's been working with the last few years, the talent,
Top-notch talent.
Yeah, for sure. The talent, every year we go in saying, it's Cowboys roster, it's Cowboys roster, it's Cowboys roster.
Every year.
So we have one playoff win. We went 8-8 last year. No business. I mean, I know our defense trash, but I get he threw 5,000 yards last year, but too much first half blunders from our teams of us getting down 10 points, of us getting down 13 points. And it's not all on him, it's the defense too. But guess what? When you get paid that much money, it becomes on you. It's just how it goes.
Oh, 100%. I don't know if he doesn't realize that, like, there's a salary cap.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't realize the talent he has around him. Like you said, I mean, that's a great point. Even great quarterbacks who've gotten paid, their teams haven't performed up to.
You can't do it by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself. So at some point, and I know there's a lot of Cowboy hater out there, just like there's a lot of Cowboy love out there. But at the end of the day, wearing that star on your helmet, you are valued at a little bit higher price than you are for another team. Just like if you play for the Lakers, just like if you play for the New York Yankees. So that's another thing right there where it's, you got to understand that. And if I'm getting paid 35 with the Cowboys, it might be more than 38 with, another with Houston. Really, and you're in the same state, but it's a completely different ballgame. So put that into consideration. Put the talent he has around him in consideration. Look, the Cowboys put this team around you to help you be successful. And you think you're this good. Well, I could probably get 3/4 of the quarterback in the league. And what the Cowboys go 8-8 last year?
Yeah.
They're going to go 8-8 at least with the team you just went 8-8 with.
Sure.
5,000 yards, I don't care. Jameis Winston led the league in yards last year, also led the league in interceptions. Look, man, this team around you is way too talented. If you want this team, you got to understand you can't have the same money as well. And you already couldn't perform with the team you have. So why are you asking for more money? It's like you got to be able to understand. Now, the fact that Vegas put him as the third best odds as winning MVP, that already says something, because last year we saw what Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson did. I think we all understood they're going to be 1 and 2 going to this year. But Dak at third, what they're saying is, look, man, you're equipped with this team that can go out and really beat anybody if you guys live up to your expectations. Because we know a quarterback that doesn't win more than 9-10 games is going to win MVP. So they're expecting him to win more than 9-10 games. You better go out there and win more than 9-10 games. Not only that, but be one of the top 3 to 4 quarterbacks in the league. Because I'm not saying win MVP. I'm saying be in the race. Now, if you're in the race, then maybe you go out there and deserve your money. And then with the team that you're going to have around you after, that's a different story, because then you're not even going to be able to build the team after. So everything you brought up, that's next level. Right now, I'm just saying, can you perform with what you have right now? Because if you can't, then don't even think about the money. But if you can, then the money's going to be in consideration for sure.
No, 100%, 100%. These players, man, I get it because I want these players because they deserve. Hey, go get that bread, get as much as money you can get. Go get as much because you're not playing sports forever for your whole life, right?
Right.
Go get as much money as you can, but at the same time, there's got to be in between, like wanting to win and getting that money because man, like you even said and like I said, man, just eats at so much cap. It eats at so much cap to where you're going to be playing with guys that you were not playing with in 2016 and 2019. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be a little worse. But yeah, like it's just you got to perform with. I know he didn't have a terrible year last year. Obviously, a lot of people think he had a great year. I don't think he had a great year.
He had a pretty good year.
Yeah. I just think a lot of those was us being down early in the first half or in the first half. Part of that was on him. His statistically, his better game or his better time was after the first half. So you got to put 4 quarters together. It's football. It's not basketball. Because basketball, I could be down 15 3 quarters, and I hit that 4th quarter, and I just turn up, and we can win.
Right.
Football is a little bit harder because you're dependent on a lot of people. But like you said, it's you got to, if you want that money, you got to be in. You don't have to win the MVP. You just got to be in that race. Because you know the difference between, hey, this guy's right there with them.
Right.
You know the difference if you're third and like last year, I don't think he was third. He had the statistically great year, but he wasn't. I don't think he was third in the MVP race.
He started telling off towards a lot of half of the season.
Exactly.
Right.
And you can't go, I think we had 1 win last year against winning teams.
That's it.
Against
Literally.
1-7, 1-8. And not all that is on him. I don't want to pin that all against him because it's not. But there was first half struggles that pinned us, that brought us down late. And then you have to pick so much up in that second half. So I want to see him put 4 quarters together. I want to see him make others better. And I don't know if we've seen him make other players better yet. Because with this offense, I don't think our defense is going to be great, or the Cowboys' defense is going to be great. But the offense, there's no excuse, man. You put 4 quarters together on offense. Hey, y'all want to go score 40? Go score 40. I'm sure y'all think y'all can. So they got to put this offense together. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be the best offense in the league. There's no reason why Dak shouldn't be in that MVP race if he is that good and if he does want that money.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm glad you brought up, players deserving to get paid. They do deserve to get paid. But at the end, but that's not the only question. I know some players are going to think more like, I'd rather have the bread than the legacy, right? Because the legacy is going to tell you to let me be and have the team that's going to put myself in the best position to win. But at some point as well, you got to understand that the better you perform, the more longevity you're going to have with that pay as well. So I can get paid a crazy 5-year deal right now. My team's not going to be able to be equipped with the best talent. I'm not going to be able to perform in the best way possible. And my lifespan might be that 5 years, maybe become a journeyman after that, a couple years after that. But if I'm able to consistently win, Tom Brady did that. We've seen Tom Brady take plenty of pay cuts in New England. That's gonna make your team become more talented, more equipped, and you're going to get paid on a longer term. You're going to your pay is going to benefit from that at the end of the day, big picture.
Your legacy also sets you up for life after.
And that as well. You're not even considering, exactly. You're not even considering off-the-field sponsorships. You're not even considering branding and everything else that comes with legacy.
The broadcasting now, they got these companies are incorporated, they have no time to wait. Once they see a star or an NFL player retire, they're offering them that.
Right, absolutely.
They're saying, hey, we want you. Come on, Monday Night Football or CBS. So it sets you up for life after football with that legacy as well. And I think what you said is a good point. Legacy and money. That is a good point. What do you want? Right. And I'm sure you want both. But the Tom Brady thing, I mean, it was when he got later in his career. And but I mean, when you do those pay cuts, you get better people around you. And in football, you're dependent on other people. So it's just more. Yeah. You're going to win more. And it's what do you want more, that legacy or the money? And it's a fine line. I don't know. And players want.
Right, and we know what Tom Brady chose, and we've seen 6 championships to go along with that. So, Dak, just keep in mind, man, this team you got around you, and not everybody has it.
We're going to year 5 now, so it's kind of a put up or shut up. Let's see what he does with this
You don't got that puppy excuse no more.
Oh no. Your hottest take, Felipe. We're gonna get right into your hottest take, and I like this one. Because you gave me a little list.
All right.
You gave me your top 10.
Let's have fun.
Yep. Your top 10 players ever, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit. This is the hottest take I have, so I'm gonna give this one a C too. All right. I'll give this one a C. It's not bad.
Can't make everyone happy.
But there's some things that I wanna hit at. So your top 10, you got. The people already know. And the thing I'm gonna say the reason being the hottest take is not the list itself. It's not the list itself. You have a lot of players who I would have in mind. Not all of them, but you do. I would say the point that makes this hot is having a Bill Russell number 5 all time over a guy like LeBron James. And not even just LeBron. A guy over of a Shaquille O'Neal.
Why?
Of a Larry Bird. And this is why. And this also goes along the lines with Wilt Chamberlain, but I'll get into Wilt in a second. Bill Russell, if you want to strictly go off, championships, bump him up higher, all right? Bump him up to 1. You've got 11. If you want to strictly go off of it, here's the thing. It's hard to go off era and skill set because I like to base my players not off era. I go off skill set. I say, who are the better basketball players? That's when I say better basketball player, I'm thinking skill set. So there's it's not Bill Russell's fault he was played in the 60s. Like, it's just not his fault,
right.
Everything's getting better in life. Like, our technology has gotten better. Cars are getting better. But when it comes to basketball players, for some reason, they don't get better, apparently, to people's eyes. But I just don't. Bill Russell playing in the 60s, the level of talent he played, the skill level, the skill sets, how much bigger he was than everybody. It's just, we didn't watch the guy play, but looking up at his stats, sure, he's a great rebounder defender. He was super inefficient, apparently. He won a lot of championships with 9 teams in the league. There was that's all of California right there.
Answer this question for me, right? Because you're talking about players consistently get better. The era thing, it doesn't have value, but the 60s, obviously, you just completely devalued it. Tell me, where's Wilt? Like, how do you view Wilt Chamberlain?
I'm glad you brought that up. When I view Wilt, I think this is the thing with Wilt. You either put him number 1, or you don't put him on your list. Because you don't want to know why? Wilt Chamberlain, you either put him number 1 or you don't put him on your list. Because having him at 9 is a weird. You're guessing because we didn't watch him play, but putting him at 9, people who put Wilt in their thing, it's just guessing.
What do you mean?
If you average 50 and 25 for a couple of years,
in a season, man,
you should be number 1. You should pretty much be number 1.
Let me tell you why he's not. You want me to tell you why he's not?
Let me.
Go ahead. And this is gonna answer, and this is exactly why you just brought me into it. Because Bill Russell stopped them from getting all these rings. They played in the same time span. They played in the same era. But guess what? Bill Russell got 11. Wilt Chamberlain with his 50 and 25. What happened when he met Bill Russell? Obviously not that. Bill Russell kept him from winning. I saw this great quote by Jalen Rose the other day. He said, when Michael Jordan played, talking about Michael Jordan's dominance. Excuse me. I'll start with LeBron. When LeBron's playing right now, sometimes it's not his turn to win, it's other teams' turn to win. We've seen that with the Warriors, we've seen that with the Spurs, we've seen that with the Mavericks winning in there. When Michael Jordan was at his peak, he didn't give nobody no turns. It wasn't that, it's not Michael Jordan's turn to win. He didn't give nobody no turns. He was winning every single year. So here's my point with Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was great, averaging 50 and 25 in a season, right? But only 2 championships to show for that. That's fantastic. And the same problem I have with LeBron with only 3 rings and 5 losses in those. Like, it's the same thing. So there you go. There's Bill Russell climbing his way up there because he does have 11 rings. He's shown to be dominant. Obviously, scoring wasn't his prowess, but he was a great rebounder. Like you said, a lot of people think he's the greatest defender of all time, and he had 11 rings to show for it. I don't care what era it was in. He stopped the most dominant force that most people agree on of all time from winning all those championships. If it was so easy back then, why didn't Wilt win more than 2? Because of Bill Russell.
To go back to when you said Jordan didn't let anybody's turn to win a championship, well, he let it was Detroit's turn twice when they beat him.
Before his peak,
when he didn't have
before he ascended. When he took over in 91, who else took over after that?
You mean when he got Scotty on his team
Maybe.
and Dennis Rodman became
when
on
they
his
evolved,
team.
yes.
But, you know, that's different. For LeBron, it's unfair. It's an era of movement. Teams are getting better, so it's kind of a little harder. And part of that's him. He left and joined a team as well. But it's just that part of his teams are collectively, I think, getting deeper and stronger. But the Bill and Wilt thing is, I get what you're saying. It's valid. You know, Bill's got 11. Yeah, Wilt only does have 2 championships. But the thing is, they were playing with like 10 teams in the league, and I know the era. If you compare eras, it's tough. Like I get it. Like I just go off straight skill set. Those guys were not such freak of nature, or especially Wilt was such a freak of nature. You didn't just see Wilt in that. Wilt, there wasn't 18 Wilts in that league, was there? No, there wasn't. He was like the only. He was an outlier. When you go in the NBA now, you see, maybe not to the same extent as LeBron's, you know, peak athleticism, but you see guys like that, right? You see guys 6'9", right, you know, maybe 240 who could jump out the gym and do all this. So Wilt was an outlier. So he was playing against just this. When I say the skill set, and even I don't think Bill Russell was this like freak athlete or anything, but what they were just so much more better than the person next to them. And you could argue, well, that's, you know, beneficial. They were just that much better than them. But I just think it was a product of what they were playing against. And if Wilt averages 50 and 25, even with only 2 championships, he should be higher. But the reason you got like put him at 9 or 8 or 7, I think it's a guess, because I think you either put him in that top 5 even with 2 championships because of his stats, or don't put him at all because of what they played against. It's just I don't value. I'm sorry for the older people. I don't value 60s basketball.
So this is why I have him at 9 and not at 1. Like I already said, while Bill Russell's ahead of him, I understand Wilt was the most dominant force, but Russell ahead of him because of the obviously he was more dominant. In my opinion, I value not only statistical dominance, but championship playoff dominance, all that. So Bill Russell goes over him. LeBron James, I have over him. Yeah, I've over him because of all those things you considered. I have these players over him because of everything you said. Yes, they're playing in a tougher league. Yes, there are more teams. Players are more athletic. But at some point, you know, and that's the same reason. If you're not considering Wilt the most dominant of all time, who are you considering the most dominant of all time? Shaq, probably, right? Now Shaq ahead of him because of the era he played in, and because he won 4 championships himself. So I do have him ahead of Wilt because of those things. So me having Wilt at 9 is calculated because those players that are ahead of him deserve to be ahead of him. But I still think that his dominance in his era put him where he's at. I mean, go ahead.
You're basing it strictly off their era, what you did in your era.
Not necessarily, but what they did in their era that, in my opinion, can transcend to today. Like I said, Wilt Chamberlain was the most. Wilt Chamberlain was the most dominant force anybody's ever seen in the NBA. Bill Russell kept them from winning. He had 11. Then when we say, oh, Bill Russell won 11 because he played in the 60s, why did Wilt Chamberlain, the most dominant force of all time, win 11? He didn't. Bill Russell won 11, right? Michael Jordan won 6 in the 90s. Is Jordan better than Bill Russell? Yeah, I think most people would agree. So then that's where everything else starts coming into play.
Here's the thing with Bill Russell, and I'm glad I want to get back into the why he's above LeBron and Shaq's and all this. A guy that is strictly defense dominated. You know, he's a defense and rebound machine. He has 11 championships. Cool. I mean, he was playing in the third of what there is now. Like 10 teams were in the league.
Okay, so a third. Let's divide 11 by 3, right? So you're around 4. Right. That's still more than LeBron. So what's up?
It's more than LeBron. What LeBron plays with now is 10 times harder than what Bill Russell played against. 10 times harder. LeBron, the era we're living in now, I argue is better than any era we've ever seen. I'm sorry, a guy in the 60s, I don't care if you can't even shoot a left-hand layup. You can't jump on. That might be unfair. That might be harsh. That might be. And that's what he played against. So he was up against his competition. He was like that same. Like, you know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying. Like, he was, not as, wasn't just coming back in time and dropped in the 60s and started playing. But, like, I value that, what he played against. I value all that. And if I'm starting, not even just starting a team, just a better basketball player, somebody who averaged 19, 15 rebounds, a lot of blocks. Yeah, they have a lot of championships, but the championship thing, it's hard because it's the 60s. We don't know technically why he won the championships. I guarantee it wasn't just him beating Wilt, because Bill Russell was only averaging like 19 a game.
Yeah, he averaged like 14, 15 some seasons. But that's the point. That wasn't the strength of his game.
So are we saying that then strictly his defense and rebounding, which rebounding is not that, I mean, it's useful, but it's not like anything game changing. Are we saying his defense and rebound won him 11 championships? Because if that's the case, then I would put him number one. I would put him the greatest player. Because if it's only your defense is winning you a championship, I think you might be the damn greatest athlete I've ever seen in my life. Like, if you're just defense and rebounding. But I just, all jokes aside on that, when I'm basing a player like LeBron and a player like Shaq, what they played against, sure, they got better as well. It's unfair to Bill Russell because he didn't get that training and stuff. But, I mean, it's a cruel world. I mean, he grew up in the 60s or played in the 60s. I value the players that these guys in this generation played against more and what they did. Yeah, nobody has 11. So it's kind of like you can't argue against 11 championships. But there's so many statistics in a harder era that these guys have, or awards in a harder era that these guys had, that is just like, man, that's ridiculous. Would have Bill done that? Because I guarantee we all agree if we put those guys back in that era, they're probably winning a lot of championships.
Yeah, they're probably.
You put Shaq.
Yeah, they're probably going to win more. And like I said, you put Shaq in that era, same thing. But divide the Bill's championships. Like we said, he still has more than most of these guys.
But you can't do it. You can't do it that way though.
But that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing by comparing eras, saying like these guys couldn't play today. Look, if Shaq was in that era, then.
So, question for you. If we believe Shaq and LeBron and most players could go back in that era and win a lot of championships, right? Do you think Bill Russell would be in today's game with the stats we see, because we didn't have our eyes to watch Bill Russell, I don't know if there's barely any footage. If we put Bill Russell in today's game, do you think he's that dominant? Averaging 14, 15 rebounds, all those blocks.
Yes.
No, you don't. I don't.
14, 15 rebounds. No, but would he average 9, 10? Would he be a Kevin Garnett skill wise of today? Yes. And the fact that he won 11 championships says enough. What I'm not like statistical dominance is one thing, but I want to know if you can win championships if you're that dominant. Like LeBron has won 3 right during his time, and he's been playing in this era that is very tough. Well, Kobe won 5.
A lot tougher than 6.
Right. Well, Kobe won 5 in a similar era. Michael Jordan, as far as like toughness of eras, that was probably even harder. Won 6. So like we got to weigh everything when we talk about statistical categories and being able to be dominant. I'm saying that even given the time that Bill Russell was playing, 11 is way too much to discount. Because obviously, yeah, he was a great defender. He was a great rebounder. And maybe those weren't the sole reason that they were winning 11 championships, but obviously the best player on the team and winning those 11 championships when there is another force in Wilt Chamberlain with the teams he was on, then.
No, I get that. It's hard to divide like the statistics and the era, and that's where I want to like hit on for everybody listening or watching. I'm not basing it off the era they played in. He has 11 rings. Or I'm just basing it off who I think the better basketball player is. Right. So I guess era does fit into that because obviously basketball's gotten better than the 60s. Like I said, I'm basing it off the skill set. If I'm thinking to myself, or if I'm in a fantasy world and some evil aliens, the Monstars come down here, and I'm saying Bill Russell or LeBron, who do you want to take these guys? Bill Russell or Shaq? Bill Russell's way further on my list just because of like I don't believe where he played at and the time he played at, and looking at his statistical, stats, that, hey, this dude was something, all special. And it might be, hey, you're looking too much in stats, Jared. I mean, we don't have the footage on it. So, I mean, nobody.
You know what my favorite stat is what you got on your fingers,
the ring,
man.
The ring.
It's my favorite stat.
I mean, hey, after the show, I'm going to look at how many games a year they played. I'm going to look at all this stuff and just see the pathway to a championship, because that 11 rings might not hold that much weight. I'm just saying, it might not hold that much weight. And if he, I think,
and they might not. But guess what? 11 rings not holding that much weight is more than 3 rings holding a lot of weight. Like as far as this is concerned, like I said, divided by 3, he still has more than 3.
So why isn't he above Kobe's 5? Kobe only has 2 more than LeBron. Why isn't Bill Russell above Kobe?
Because Kobe was more dominant. Kobe didn't lose 5 finals.
LeBron's more dominant than Bill Russell. LeBron's more dominant than Kobe. LeBron's more dominant. One of the most.
Yes. Athletically, he's more dominant. When I speak of dominance, I'm talking about winning in a league, right? Like being the best player, the best team, leading the team to be the best in the league. So as far as dominance in that aspect is considered, yes, Bill Russell was more dominant than LeBron. No, he wasn't more athletic than LeBron. No,
I'm not even talking athletic. I think LeBron has the highest IQ I've ever seen.
Dude,
people argue him or Magic.
LeBron's the most dominant ever. How is he losing to how many finals in a row did he lose? He lost a lot. Anyways, he's 3-5. He lost 5 NBA finals. And within those finals, not only did he lose, but he lost in record margins. Like those against the Spurs, those were like all-time losses, like terrible losses. And there's no excuse. There's no excuse with like the Warriors had this super team. This was the Spurs. The Spurs were a really good team, and arguably those teams were top 15, top 20 teams ever. But it's no reason to be losing by all-time margins in the finals. That's not dominance. That's not dominance.
In 07, when LeBron was 22 years old, fourth year in the league, nobody thought he was going to win. We all knew they were going to lose.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
Michael Jordan. I'm talking
about later when he was on the Heat, when he had Dwayne Wade, when he had Chris Bosh, when he had Ray Allen.
When he had those guys, he won 2. The Dallas blunder, I can't argue Dallas because that was a bad one. 2014, D Wade was completely washed. And I'm not trying to be biased towards LeBron at all. If you watch, he was missing every other game.
Okay, but if you're as dominant as you are, that's not an excuse to be losing by record margins in the NBA Finals.
LeBron put on. LeBron, if you saw what he did, LeBron was doing his thing. You got to have teammates. Those Spurs teams collectively are one of the better just collective units in sports. Just how the operations
top 15, the top 20 team ever. But if you're the most dominant, if you're as dominant as you say you are, and you're more dominant than Bill Russell, then you're not gonna you're not gonna get swept. 2, you're not gonna be losing by record margins.
So you think going back to the Kobe, and also in 2015, LeBron would have won if his 2 best players weren't hurt. That they took him 6 games against the Warriors.
LeBron would have lost last year, or Kawhi would have lost.
He won the next year.
Kawhi would have lost last year if KD was healthy. We could do hypotheticals all day.
Absolutely. I believe that. Absolutely would have lost. 2017-18, Kevin Durant joins the Warriors, best team ever. Or 2018, LeBron had no help, just absolutely. He had George Hill and J.R. Smith. But Kobe, Kobe, you said lost 2, and LeBron lost 5 or 6. Do you think it's better or something to lose before the finals than in the finals? Because this never makes sense to me. Why do we tear down somebody for losing in the finals, but somebody who's lost in the first round, second round, third round, we just give them a pass like, hey, you're a great player, man. You lost in the first, second round. Why are we not? Would you rather get an F on a test or would you rather get a B? I'm pretty sure everybody rather get a B. If you lose in the first round,
it depends what
it's an F.
It depends what the path is there. If I'm getting a B in rocket science, that's better than getting an A in some whack ass easy class. So that's what it is with LeBron, and he's playing in a super weak Eastern Conference his whole life.
They weren't super weak his whole life. He went up against Chauncey and the Pistons,
when he went to
Celtics,
Miami, when he went to Miami, and they finally got past the Celtics. After that, it was a wrap. Like there was no competition for them
Bulls,
in the East. Man, the Bulls were barely a competition.
You could argue
they played them pretty well, but nobody had any question. Zero questions about who was going to be representing the East that year. And not necessarily because of LeBron. Yes, he was great, and he's an all-time great player. That's why I have him at 6. But also because the competition was inferior.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't agree that a guy like Bill Russell is above LeBron. And if you think Bill's above him, you should probably put Wilt behind him. Wilt's only got 1 less ring than LeBron, so you should probably bump up Wilt in front of LeBron.
Yeah, and that's where the errors. So like 2 versus 3, and those different errors. Then obviously LeBron's 3 is a lot more, and he has more anyways. But that's what I'm saying. 11 is just too great to overlook.
No, I get that, but I'm basing mine off just strictly skill set, strictly I'm valuing who I think just going down as a better basketball player. Yeah, I think LeBron is light years ahead of Bill Russell. But I'm gonna rattle you off my.
Give me your list real quick.
So I'm gonna give my list real quick. Number 1, I'm gonna go MJ. Number 2, I'm gonna go LeBron, and 3, I'm gonna go Kareem. So I think you had Kareem at 3 or
Kareem
2.
at 2.
4 and 5, I'm gonna go 4 Kobe or 4 Shaq, excuse me, most dominant force ever. 5 Kobe. All right. 6, I'm gonna go Larry Bird. 7, Magic Johnson. 8, Tim Duncan. 9, Hakeem Olajuwon, and 10, Kevin Durant. So I'm writing off my 10 right there. I put Kevin Durant. Yeah, I don't put in Bill Russell. I don't put in Wilt Chamberlain because I'm not guessing. I get you brought up the rings part, sure, but especially for Bill Russell, but especially for Wilt, it's a lot of guessing with Wilt. He averaged 50 and 25, but like you said, he did only win 2. He did only win 2 rings, so it's like were the era that he played in. I just don't believe that basketball was good. I just don't believe they were skill set, and superior to the guys now, and I don't want to guess and be like, oh, these guys were right there because what they accomplished in their era. I'm not basing mine off that. I'm basing straight skill set. I do got Kevin at 10.
That's something, right? That's a conversation for another day. And also, we've talked quite a bit about Wilt, but give me a quick little reasoning. Not that we're gonna dive into or anything, but give me a little reasoning behind Larry Bird in front of Magic.
Oh, okay. Glad you asked that. Larry Bird in front of Magic. When I say those 4 through about 7 or 4 through about 8, the Magic, the Bird, the Duncan, the Kobe's, I think those are all very interchangeable. Okay. I think those are like they're not like, oh my gosh, so far ahead of. I think the MJ, LeBron, and Kareem I think are the 3 that is like, hey, these guys are the 3 best. But so the Bird, I have Bird over Magic. I have Bird over Magic because I think Bird was more his skill set I think was better than Magic's. Yeah, Magic's got 5 rings, but he had Kareem. I know Larry Bird had great teams. I get that, but he never had like a Kareem next to him. So I think just skill set, Larry was offensively, he was almost kind of like a Kevin Durant in a way. He was so scary. He was so scary, and that man, he could pass the ball.
He could defend the hell out of anybody too.
He was 6'9" or 6'10". He's got 3 championships. So I just think off the skill set and the offensive, the power was a little more than Magic. He did it kind of without a Kareem. Did you hear about the news that came out yesterday between DeAndre Baker, the corner for the Giants, and Quentin Dunbar? I don't know if he's still in the Redskins or not. I don't even know if he's relevant.
Not relevant. I saw the notification. Didn't really look into it.
Yeah. So those two guys, NFL athletes. DeAndre Baker's a first-round draft pick. I think Quentin Dunbar's made well over $10 million in his career. Supposedly they're at like a cookout, a barbecue, some sort, and an altercation breaks out. And Quentin Dunbar and DeAndre Baker supposedly pulls out like an assault rifle, and him and Dunbar just go on like a little rampage of trying to rob people. And then even DeAndre Baker supposedly in the article, in the little report, said that he told a third party to like, hey, shoot that, shoot that person. So these two guys are $1 million athletes, and they're going and pulling out guns on people, robbing people. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's stupidity at its finest.
That's worse than stupidity. You got something wrong with your cranium, man. Like there's something wrong with your head. Like that's not. I don't know, man. Like that's just like sad to me. Like you make that much money, you know what I'm saying? And as far as like just signing a contract, like you have so much potential to make so much money, and not only money but be successful. Like there's success on different levels, but within the athletic realm, that's. How much more successful are you going to get as far as just making it and signing a contract and being well regarded, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then you go out there and do like that kind of stuff. Like you need help. You need help.
A lot of players don't understand. Your cap on football is not that many years unless you're like a quarterback or a kicker. So there's life after football, and a lot of these players don't. Look at Trent Richardson. He wasn't in the league that much, and all that money that he made, he's got little shows on it or little articles. He doesn't got that money anymore.
Right.
So you're losing. Those guys, especially or Dunbar's a little older, I believe, but DeAndre Baker's a first-round draft pick last year, and it looks like he robbed the wrong thing. Looks like he robbed the Giants because he was a rookie, but he was a terrible rookie last year. But you're setting yourself up for setting yourself up to maybe get cut and not picked up again. But you're also setting yourself up in the future to, not getting paid that much. But I think, I think it's stupidity, and it's just, come on, man. Y'all are NFL players. What you need to be robbing people for?
Yeah,
pulling out guns.
Yeah, I don't get it, especially like these players who are respected in their craft already, but a lot of them feel like they need to gain like respect by doing this. Especially ones who came from like less privileged environments. I understand it might be hard sometimes to let go of your past, but you know what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right, and you gotta be able to look at the full picture and like forget about trying to be G. Like we saw with Aaron Hernandez, what trying to be G was throughout his NFL career, like hang on to what he was in the past. Obviously, there was a lot more into that. I actually suggest watching that on Netflix. It's a good ass documentary on Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
But speaking of invoking fear into people, though, Mike Tyson, nobody's really done that more than him in maybe history as you could think of. Man, in the 90s, it really peak time for boxing, and for him, probably the biggest athlete in the world aside of Michael Jordan. He's trying to make a little comeback, little rumblings. I've seen videos of him shadow boxing, and man, he looks fast, he looks good, which is weird because like when I see him in like interviews and stuff, I feel like he's a lot older, but he's only 53. But he does look good in these shadow boxing videos and stuff.
Yeah, he does look in the shadow boxing.
Right. That's
12 rounds.
There you go.
Not 12 rounds, or even if he went 8 rounds or whatever, how many rounds he went. No, Mike Tyson, man, he said, man, he puts the fear in you, man. He'll bite your ear off, obviously. You do a lot of things, too. But, man, he's a little too old. I don't know, 53, though. I mean, he's probably still got it. It just depends what kind of shape he's in. Like, I don't know how he works on it, his body is and how, his diet is and stuff like that. But, I mean, if he's fighting some young buck, then I'm not going to give him a chance.
And and at the same time, like 57 or 53 of like 53 for a retired boxer is, in my opinion, older than 53 of a like retired basketball player, right? Like you got beat up a lot more than basketball, depending on how much you fought, and everything. Really depends. But your head definitely is in a worse spot.
Yeah, no.
And Evander Holyfield, talking about 53, Evander Holyfield 57. He just came out the other day and said, don't hold no reservations about me because I feel pretty good too about a comeback. So two boxing greats.
I'll stay sleep on both of them coming back. Wake me up if they come back, but I don't believe
they fight each other. Mike is funny though. Oh. Have you seen Jamie Foxx do his Mike Tyson impression? It's hilarious.
Nah, I like Jamie Foxx. I just watched a Jamie Foxx movie the other day. Jamie Foxx.
I watched Django a week ago.
Did you?
Great movie. Yeah, he's a great actor, man. You gotta.
Yeah, check out Sleepless. It's on Netflix with Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
I gotta pick that movie.
Good movie.
So that's it for this Friday, May 15th version of Beyond the Lines. Thank you all for tuning in. It was a fun little episode with some list discussion. You saw both mine and Jared's list. A little back and forth on KD and Kawhi, what we think about Dak, and a couple other takes on the 5 facts. But it was a fun day overall.
Yeah, man, it was a heated debates, man, and some agreements, and this one was fun. And some of these conversations, they set us up for another, to extend those conversations for future episodes. But today was a good episode, and we went at it, had fun.
Yeah, man, and lists never ending. So different aspects of the arguments today definitely will be brought up in the future. We gotta attack those. We took quite a bit of time already today, so that's gonna be fun. A lot of content, a lot of entertainment there, man. But man, another day, and we'll be back on Monday. Don't forget to like our stuff, man. Subscribe, follow us on social media. It's in the description. Everything's in the description. And if you want a guided outline for different times of the segment and everything, that's all in the description too, man. So if you want to skip to a different take or everything like that, we also got playlists now with specific worst takes, best takes, hottest takes, NBA, NFL. But if you want to fine tune your viewing a little bit. And yeah, man. We'll see you next on Monday.
Sure, everything he said, guys. I'll peep it.